Previously on TVSins.
I've heard worse.
You liar!
Come on, you pansy!
What in the name of Charles Schultz is that growing on this tree? Is this the great pumpkin growing on this apple tree? Did I just crack a code, or is this just a 1966 animation flub of the sun rising too close to a drawing of a tree? Leaning the latter. And the animator said, let's have Linus pick up an apple and only take one bite of it before throwing it away, even though it's actually his sister who is truly the asshole. Why does this neighborhood have no sidewalks, no garages, and no streets? I mean, you can shout all you want about them not wanting to complicate the animation, but they animated a freaking electric pole, so I'm not buying it. Hold on there, animators. Are you telling me that this sun is the same sun as here and here? I mean, I know perspective can change, but we've been following these two the whole way, so the sun should have followed along with them. What's up with this My Three Sons situation? Is this a Star Wars homage? Honestly, if the Peanuts gang live on Tatooine, that explains so much. Welcome to our cul-de-sac's pumpkin patch. Every cul-de-sac has a pumpkin patch, right? Gourd shaming. Great move by Linus here, but exactly what purpose does a fence like this serve? Also, did he leave his blanket in the pumpkin patch? Apparently all it took to cure him of his blanket fetish was jacking his lantern a bit. Linus survives this. I'm 63% sure that Vince Guaraldi's incredible music is 91% responsible for 76% of the love these Peanuts specials get. And I'm pretty sure all that math adds up to me having to remove at least 3 cents. I'm not certain all the evidence lines up perfectly, but I'd wager all the monies that Lucy grew up to be the Zodiac Killer. Jeez, Lucy, why even put the paper towels out in the first place?
Oh, you didn't tell me you were gonna kill it.
Nice sentiment and all, but Linus has seen jack-o'-lanterns before, right? I mean, the one thing I know for sure after watching this is that Linus has a seriously disturbing obsession with pumpkins. Why do these multitude of holes change into a normal 3-hole ghost face when this trick-or-treater gets scared? By the way, Multitude of Holes was also the title of my college girlfriend's tell-all autobiography. Does seeing the string on the cat still count as a sin in an animated show? I'm gonna go with yes. Also, this show is a dick to people suffering from trypophobia.
This time you can trust me. See? Here's a signed document.
Politicians.
It is signed.
How nearsighted is Charlie Brown? How can he see anything with the paper that close to his face?
Dear Great Pumpkin.
Writing. I mean reading. I mean both.
When are you going to stop believing in something that isn't true?
Like Lucy holding the football for you, Chuck? Pot and kettle, CB. Pot and kettle.
The big number 2. Perhaps you try harder.
The DCEU. Also, in case you needed any proof that pop culture references don't age well, this line was originally a wink to a popular slogan for Avis Rent-A-Car. Oh, the hilarity.
Writing a letter to a stupid pumpkin? You make me the laughing stock of the neighborhood.
Pretty sure those 2-cent counseling booths you set up don't help matters, Lucille.
You better cut it out right now or I'll pound you.
I wonder why I'll pound you isn't a sibling threat used often these days. Oh.
There are 3 things I have learned never to discuss with people: religion, politics, and the great pumpkin.
Strangely, in 2019, these are somehow all the same topic.
You're wasting your time. The great pumpkin is a fake.
Who the hell was that? Did Lucy just go recruit random friends to berate her brother? Or random street urchins wandering off the street to add their ridicule to poor Linus?
Everyone tells me you are a fake, but I believe in you. P.S. If you really are a fake, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Senate Republicans. Okay, fine. Enough political humor. But honestly, tell me this doesn't become about 1,000 times more interesting when you think of it as a modern political commentary. Ah! Are those red scribblings supposed to indicate Linus is embarrassed? Because it seems more likely to indicate atopic dermatitis. Well, that or you let your 3-year-old do the animation coloring for this part. I have to give credit to the animators for their profound ability to predict how the U.S. Postal Service would become obsolete by removing the letter from Linus's hand for a single frame. Brilliant. This works. Also, there's an abbreviation dot after U, but not after S.
You must have been put on the wrong list.
Peanuts envy.
Do I get to go trick-or-treating this year, Big Brother? Sure, Sally. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, how do we do it?
I don't know how old Sally's supposed to be, but I'm guessing she's at least knows what the trick-or-treating is years old.
I want one to be accused of taking part in a rumble.
Taking part in a rumble.
I had a little trouble with the scissors.
There was clearly only 2 holes in that sheet when he was holding it a second ago. Also, this explains nothing. It would be one thing if you had cut this thing to shreds, but those cuts are all fairly consistent ovals. Wouldn't you have just stopped after 2? Like, so many problems, this one could have been avoided if you weren't so obsessed with your holes.
They'll never guess it's me under here.
There are many things about Charlie Brown that hold up really well. Representing poverty by showing Pigpen being dirty with bugs flying around him all the time is not one of them.
What in the world kind of costume is that?
Makes you wonder if this is what caused the dogs being dressed up in Halloween costumes craze. And if so, that is 100% a sin. And the holes are gone again.
Don't talk like that. The Great Pumpkin knows which kids have been good and which kids have been bad.
Linus thinking the Great Pumpkin exists is one thing, but thinking he's like Santa and brings gifts is another. The fact that he hasn't actually gotten any gifts on previous Halloweens didn't clue him in.
He'll come here because I have the most sincere pumpkin patch and he respects sincerity.
Watching these Peanuts specials today is the equivalent of watching a show that Stephen Levitan created that wrote every single character to be Manny from Modern Family.
You don't believe the story of the Great Pumpkin? I thought little girls always believed everything that was told to them.
That's racist.
If you try to hold my hand, I'll slug you.
Boy, that Sally sure does run hot and cold there, doesn't she? I don't care what you say, there is a giant face in the sky that is about to eat those children, and I will never be able to unsee it. An animated character with 5 fingers? What is this sorcery? And now she's back to 4. All is right with the world again.
I got 5 pieces of candy. I got a chocolate bar. I got a quarter. I got a rock.
Charlie Brown will now get a rock from all the houses on his block, and I have to ask, what kind of sick-ass community is this? The adults obviously had to have a town meeting and not only decided to single out Charlie Brown, but actually concoct and enact a plan that involved A, identifying which costume was his, and B, setting aside time to collect rocks to have ready to throw in his bag. This plan is as diabolical as it is unreasonable. Also, the I got a rock bit is a great recurring joke, but I'm more confused about the other 2 exclamations. Everyone other than Charlie Brown clearly got more than 5 pieces of candy, and we didn't see a quarter thrown into any of the bags. Also, who the is this I got a quarter kid? We've got Pigpen, Lucy, Charlie Brown, another witch, and the Davy Crockett ghost. But this kid is nowhere to be seen. Did they pick up an actual ghost at some point? That would have been a much more interesting side story than the Red Baron bull. Speaking of the Red Baron bull, this section goes on for a little over 2.5 minutes, and barely anyone remembers it. You know why? Because it sucks. This is the most ridiculous amount of padding since my sister decided at 12 that she wanted her shoulders to be as high as the top of her head. This reminds me, why is CB so follically challenged? Charles Schultz said he never considered him to be bald, just really light-haired. Yet scenes like this completely contradict that idea. I just need some headcanon on the issue so I can move on. I'm going to imagine Charlie's mom shaves his head every morning in this exact formation as a way to remind her of a milkman with male pattern baldness that she had an affair with in the 50s. He died tragically when his curiosity got the best of him, and a milk bottle broke in a very sensitive area. Since she could never admit her forbidden love, this hairstyle is her only way to hold his memory in her heart. Yeah, it'll work. Also, what other way were they going to set up the jack-o'-lantern? That's like literally every jack-o'-lantern's facial features. And there was no paper to draw on. Just saying, much like this sin, this is a super long way to get to a joke that's not funny to begin with. This sign says Snoop Dogg is just 3 kilometers from Pont-à-Mousson, France, when just a few moments ago he walked by a sign saying he was 70 kilometers from Salon-le-Chabon. Since those cities are 138 kilometers apart, the closest he could have been to this city was 65 kilometers, which is easily a 14-hour walk. Next, we see he's a few kilometers from La Moselle, which is another 35-kilometer, 7-hour walk. And my point is, I suck at pronouncing French city names. Also, this line takes him deeper into German-occupied territory, so I'm not sure exactly where he's headed. Who bobs for apples on carpet? The last time we saw Snoops, he was ducking behind a curtain, and we never cut away from the apple bucket, so I think it's safe to assume that beagles have mastered teleportation. Ah, sudden Schroeder!
Ugh! Ugh! Poison doglet!
Sorry, Lucy, a dog's mouth is cleaner than a... Wait, who says what now? Fine, apparently the facts behind this are much more complicated than a simple answer. It involves different types of bacteria, and the type of food a dog eats, and the word zoonotic. So sing away, Lucy, but no, though you aren't all wrong, you aren't all right either. Schroeder's hands are too big, or that piano is too small for him to be able to play it well with both hands. Either way, I'm calling Schroeder shenanigans. Also, this goes on for some time. Seriously, stretch must have been written in this screenplay on every other page. Also, Schroeder's playing the World War I hit It's a Long Way to Tipperary, a song about missing home that soldiers on both sides made their own. However, eventually the bored soldiers changed the lyrics to That's the Wrong Way to Tickle Mary. And I like to think that Snoopy's goofy grin here is because he's imagining that version in his head instead. You know Snoopy had his way with those French bitches. What? He's a dog, isn't he? Aha! We got the animators blue-handed. We've got Sally red-handed. We've got the animators red-handed making Sally blue-handed. Whatever. Her hand's blue. Dang it. Let's move on.
I spent the whole night waiting for the Great Pumpkin when I could have been out for tricks or treats.
It should be mentioned that Linus did not force or even really persuade Sally into staying here with him. He just asked if she wanted to. And if he had known there would be this much of Sally shouting, he might not have asked in the first place.
You kept me up all night waiting for the Great Pumpkin. And now that kid was a beagle!
The only thing more exaggerated than this Sally rant is that holy size moon behind her. That's probably the Bruce Almightiest moon to ever almighty.
And it was all your fault! Also!
Capo culture. Nice of Lucy to go get her brother, but where the are the parents? I see you, show, trying to make me feel like Lucy is doing a good thing. She's done nothing but treat her brother like a Linus infection this entire time. If you think tucking him in one time makes it all better, you're tucking nuts.
Stupid! What do you mean, stupid?
Twitter.
Over here. There's a pile of rocks waving at you. Here.
Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Okay, that is the last time you were gonna pull that crap.
The big number 2. Perhaps you try harder.
I'm gonna rip the eyes out of your head and piss in your dead skull!
Come on, let's get going. It's time for the Halloween party.